While we're working on our highest value activities, we can sometimes become distracted by the small things that tend to pop up randomly. My guest today says the solution is what she calls a rapid fire power hour. It's your time to schedule your week to batch together all those little tasks that come up so you don't need to stop what you're doing and get distracted. Instead, you batch them together, you get them all done at once, and you make the best use of your time. On today's show, Amber de la Garza is with me again to talk about how that rapid fire power hour can get you back on track. It's coming up on today's One Simple Thing.
It's time to build a better business by building a better you. This is One Simple Thing.
Welcome back. Dave Kirby here with you once again. My conversation with Amber de la Garza is just ahead. Stay tuned for it. First, I want to tell you about a new company I've started. We launched it a couple of months ago. We've already got some very happy clients. It's called My Virtual Team. It is a team of virtual assistants we put together. If you're a busy entrepreneur, you got more stuff to do than you have time to do it, or maybe you find yourself working outside your area of expertise because you don't have anybody else to get stuff done, like graphic design or building your website or tweaking your email funnels, your Infusionsoft, your MailChimp. Maybe it's social media you don't have time to manage the way it needs to be. That's where My Virtual Team comes in. We put together a team, all that have expertise in these different areas of your business. You just assign the task, we assign it to the best possible fit for you, and it gets done quickly and right. Make sure you check it out today. There's a banner ad for My Virtual Team on our website. It's at onesimplethingonline.com. And it's my company, so I am always here to talk with you about it. You could shoot me an email, or if you'd like to text me, you can do that as well. My email address is dave@onesimplethingonline.com. That's with the number 1 in there, dave@onesimplethingonline.com. My text number, 615-436-2626. Would love to talk to you. All right, on with the show. Amber de la Garza joins me. She's a productivity specialist, a business efficiency consultant with clients all over the United States. She has prepared a free download for you. It's called 10 Ways You're Screwing Your Productivity. Some of them you may never have thought of before, so make sure you check it out. It's a free download. The banner ad is on our website at onesimplethingonline.com. Just click on it and get yours today. Amber, welcome back here to the One Simple Thing podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. And by the way, and we haven't talked about this together. I know I've been talking about it on the last couple of episodes, but you have a free download that you are offering our audience. It's called 10 Ways You're Screwing Your Productivity, which I love the title. Can you kind of describe what we're going to get in that download?
Yes. So 10 Ways to Screw Your Productivity is a PDF download that's going to tell you probably several ways that you don't expect that you're screwing your productivity. And then it links out to resources to solve those problems. So first and foremost is to identify how you're screwing it, and then it'll take you to the resource to solve that.
So, all right. And it's a free download. We've got the link on the website. Just click on the banner ad at onesimplethingonline.com. So we're talking about productivity and time management this week. And you have something that you call the Rapid Fire Power Hour, which is a pretty intriguing name for a 60-minute period. Can we kind of get into that, what you're talking about?
Absolutely. So we've been talking about personal productivity and productivity being your highest value activity, and that activity that generally is like project-based, or it's sales, or it's content creation. It could be just about anything. But what happens when we decide, oh, I need to, return this call, I need to pay this bill, I need to return this email, and all of these lingering tasks come up, and they're dividing your focus to where you can't really focus on your highest value activity. And the truth is that that's very true for a lot of us, and that we go do these random tasks instead of doing our highest value activity. So what I created was what I call a rapid fire power hour. And it's a time in which you schedule in your week that when these little tasks come up, you don't need to stop what you're doing, change your focus, and do them. You can put them together and batch them together in your power hour that you've scheduled on your calendar.
I had another guest on the program, Mike Vardy from The Productivityist, and one of the things he teaches is blocking.
I love him. Yes.
Is time blocking, right? So it's
Yep.
you have a certain time a week that I do a certain kind of task. Is that kind of what you're talking about here?
It is. It is. So this would be blocking out your power hour. And the purpose of this blocked out time would be all of those little random tasks that start adding up that would take your attention. So, if you're working at your computer and you remember something, most of us would generally just go do it, and then we're off on a rabbit trail. Mm-hmm. What I like is that you capture all of that into a to-do, and you're saying, you know what, on Wednesday at 9 o'clock is my power hour, and you go through that list and you just rapidly just go right through it. And because you're batching it, and because they're all small little tasks that weren't particularly time sensitive, you can get through so much. That will, in return, because you've gotten through so much, clear the slate so you can start your day the next day with a clean slate and not be preoccupied with everything that's on your to-do list.
I'm thinking about David Allen's GTD method, right? Getting things done. And he talks about, if a task takes less than 2 minutes, just go ahead and do it and get it out of the way. Because he talks about our brains only have the capacity to carry around so much stuff, right, at one time. And if we're all stressed out about all these little things, we don't have the focus to be able to concentrate on the big thing. So instead of doing it right now, you're saying take all those little 2 to 3 minute tasks, block them together in your power hour, and that way you're getting them all wiped out at one time.
Correct. Honestly, and I get the 2-minute rule, and it kind of boils down to, it probably takes longer than that to get it on your to-do list and process it. So he's saying just do it. But if we have a quick way to compile those and you can get them done in your power hour, because it is good if one thing comes up and it's less than 2 minutes to do it. The problem is we're on information overload. And again, we spoke about this in another episode, is that we're kind of all redlining. So much is coming at us. We're trying to output so much and do so much that those 2-minute tasks really start adding up. And so if you really stop and start, statistics tell us that it takes 23 minutes to get back to the level of focus that we were once at with just a 15-second interruption.
Wow.
And so when you get in that zone where you're super focused, like literally a bomb could go off and you're not even phased, and some of us can get into that more frequently than others. When we get ourselves distracted or allow ourselves to get distracted, it takes quite a while to get back to that level of attention and focus, and sometimes we never do, and then our productivity is definitely affected. And so when we have a way that we can say, okay, I know for sure that this is going to get done at Wednesday at 9 o'clock, that releases us from that feeling of that we have to do it now, because if we don't do it now, when is it going to get done? And that question of, if we don't do it now, when is it going to get done, makes us take action right now and interrupt ourselves. So if we have a place in our calendar, like you said, time blocking it, and we stick it there and we know that we're going to get it done, then we're not as tempted to start and stop all day.
So 2 questions come to mind. Number one is, how do I identify which tasks belong in that power hour? And number 2, how do I keep track of them so I don't forget about them when it finally comes time to do that hour?
Right. So the first question about what kind of tasks. So these are going to be tasks that are not really time sensitive, probably a little bit stronger on administrative. And with regards to how to track it, it needs to be tracked in the way that you track your general to-dos. And so I don't know, everyone listening probably has something different. I use Outlook, and all of my tasks are in Outlook, but there are so many other programs that work just as well, and it really is just dependent on what works for you. But you just need to get them into your tasks and then maybe categorize them all as power hour, or categorize them all as just administrative, so that when you go to do your power hour, they're all together in one place and you just plow right through them. And that's part of the batching that I was talking about.
I have a notebook that I just keep open on my desk, and if I'm working on something and an idea or something pops into my mind, I'll just jot it down on that notebook, and I know then I've got a reminder to I can go back and revisit that. Because for me, I know if I open up another piece of software or something on my computer, I'm going to go down a rabbit trail, right? So, hey, while I'm doing this, let me check Facebook again, that kind of thing. So
yes. Dave, I like that. It's simple, right? And simple works. Yeah. I keep a steno pad on my desk, and I process the steno pad at the end of the day. Not everything needs to be typed up and put through your whole process. If it works and it's simple and you're consistent with it, I think it works great.
I know for a lot of creative people, ideas kind of come out of nowhere, right? And so maybe you're writing a blog post or you're working on a proposal or whatever, and then all of a sudden something pops into my mind about some marketing plan that I'm working on or something like that, right? So you're saying instead of hopping around from one thing to another like that, just keep a record of them somewhere so that we can go back to them at the appropriate time. Now, I know, some of those things are bigger than what would go in your power hour, because the power hour stuff is like those little 2, 3, 5, 10-minute tasks that are just going to pull us away from everything. But still, the concept, I think, holds true, that, keeping a record of those things so we can go back and revisit them on a time when we're not in the middle of something else.
I love it. So I use something called Color Note. It syncs with my phone and it syncs on my desktop, because I have the most random ideas all the time, and I always have my phone with me. Or if I'm at my computer, I can have it up on the other screen, and it's just a blank sheet of a note. It's like a sticky note, but digital. And I just type to it. And it doesn't need to be formatted. It doesn't need to be pretty. You just capture it. And so it's a simple way to capture and sync wherever you're at.
What's the name of it again?
It's called Color Note.
I know some people will use Evernote for stuff like that, or, the Apple Notes program, or, whatever. And I've tried all of those. The best for me has been the Notebook, but I'm going to check out Color Note as well.
Yes, it's just a simpler version of the other products that you were saying. It just simple.
Yeah, well, I love simple. So what do you want us to do today, getting started with this rapid fire power hour?
I want you to schedule the rapid fire power hour right on your calendar right now, and then stick to it and don't go over. The temptation, once you're going, you're going to feel great. You're going to be crossing stuff off your checklist left and right, and the momentum's going to feel great. But don't go over. Stick to your 1 hour.
So if there's more stuff in there than would take the 1 hour, do I bump it off to the next hour?
Yep. Then you schedule another time, because what happens is if you don't stick to the hour, the next time you go to do your power hour, you're going to say, oh, well, I don't have that much time to do it. So you're not going to do it. So if you know that you're giving yourself an hour from bumper to bumper, and setting those boundaries, you'll be so surprised how much you get done when you know you have a hard cutoff time. Okay,
I know we're down to the end of this, but I got a couple more questions here that just ironically just popped into my mind, right? Maybe I should, but I don't have time to put it off to a power hour, so we need to ask them now. So,
okay, go.
Can I do this multiple times a week, or is it something that's better just once a week?
This depends on your workflow and how much you have coming into you. For me, I do a power hour once a week, and that's enough. So for me, I don't have a ton that is left over after 1 hour. If I can do a power hour once a week, it really kind of cleans the decks enough for me to keep moving on.
Is there a best time of the week to do it? Monday, Friday, in the middle of the week?
Fridays. I love Fridays. It's your catch-all, right? So you've been running at like Mach speed all week, in and out of appointments. Your rapid fire power hour will be your capture time to tie up all those loose ends.
So Fridays, and then time of day, I think you mentioned try to schedule it during the middle of the day, or when's the best time of day to do it?
Yeah, I like doing it mid-afternoon, because I'm already doing my highest value activity Friday morning. And then what's great is you get to leave the office and feel like everything's tied up and start fresh on Monday. Great.
Amber, thank you. Another great content-packed episode here. And if we'll going back to the first episode, you got to do it though, right? It's not just enough to say you want to change your life. You got to actually change the life.
That's correct.
Good. Amber, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
She has prepared a special download for you. It's called 10 Ways You're Screwing Your Productivity. And I want you to pick up your copy today. It is free. Just click on the banner ad when you go to onesimplething.online.com. That's onesimplething.online.com. Amber De La Garza going to be back with me on the next episode. Hopefully you'll join us then. I'm Dave Kirby, and I'll see you then on the One Simple Thing podcast.